Hey, welcome back to the podcast.
Hey, it's great to be here. Uh, just we were just talking before we started. When had I been on with you before? We couldn't exactly figure it out, but it's been a while,
Yeah,
and I'm so glad to be with you. And of course, I subscribe and watch what you do, and it's not only amazing the number of guests that you've had on over these number of years, but my goodness, the fact that you enjoy it and stick it out. I love that. I really
yeah,
do.
it's been a fun process and kind of trying to circle back to yourself and others just to remember it's like, oh yeah, we did have that conversation. And instead of just making it a catalog of numbers, it's like, no, you remember the faces, you remember the people and the stories behind them. But like I've asked you before, but I like to ask every guest, for anyone who doesn't know you, who do you say you are?
Oh, who I am. Someone you should be very careful of. No, no, no. Golly, I even hate to say this now. It's been a while, but I am a 72-year-old former video production teacher. I taught in school in Indiana, video production for 33 years. Started back in I started teaching in 1976
Hmm.
and then taught for 33 years and retired. Some friends asked me if I would come down to Atlanta. Oh, I can't do that. I'm from a small rural town. And they kept coaxing me, and I finally did come down here. I said I would stay for a year, and I really liked Atlanta. I still have my home in
Mhm.
Indiana. One of my family members lives there, takes care of it. But I enjoyed Atlanta, and one of the reasons was because that there was so much to do in video production.
Mm.
So I bought a little Canon camera, video camera,
Yeah.
because someone wanted me to do something for them. So I did, and it has just blossomed into this old timers career that I really enjoy. And so that's who I am, you know.
That's a pretty good choice in career.
Yeah, yeah. And I've only learned. It,
Hmm.
it was always a career that I loved.
Hmm.
Teaching, I loved. Video
Right.
production, I loved. So those two things went together. We also managed, our school was in charge of managing the public access channel on
Mm.
cable
Right. I remember
in
we
our
spoke about
small.
that.
Yeah. So there were three things that were immensely fun. And then I came to Atlanta, and now I start doing that for work
Hmm.
and when I should be retired, I guess, but I just love it. So I learned that, if you can continue working in an area that you have a real passion for,
Hmm.
it can be fun. And maybe by some chance, it keeps you young too, as long as we can stay healthy. If we love what we're doing, we can do it and keep doing it. And I certainly do. And um, someone told me when I went back to visit, and they knew some of the things I've been doing here in the last couple of years. Said, "Well, don't you wish you would have went there earlier?" No, because it's all the things I did during that teaching career and in video that gives me the basis to do what I do now. So
Right.
it's always fun. It's always fun.
That's a good
Well,
point.
no, it's. Let me take that back. It's not always fun. There's a lot of stress in video production.
Yeah.
But I really do think, obviously we all, as we get older, health can take turns anywhere it wants to go.
Right.
But for anyone who can be healthy enough to do what they love, and I'm very, very lucky and very fortunate to be able to do that. So
That's good to hear. And like you mentioned with video production, you have the ability to work with a client that's like one-on-one versus like working on like have you ever wanted to work on a TV show or have you ever wanted to had the opportunity to do something like that, working with a big cast and crew?
I have not done that here at
Gotcha.
all. No. Sometimes I hire crews to come and help me. Um, it started out with that one little camera, and now, of course, I love technology too.
Hmm.
So we do multiple camera live streaming at conventions, the bigger events where they want multiple camera things. All of that kind of production. Sometimes we hire crews. I hire
Hmm.
crews as well to come and help. But it's just fascinating what we've gotten into. And I, I there's a picture I actually posted online. I travel a lot with two different groups now to
Hmm.
do video. It's actually cheaper to take an old retired guy on the road with you and
Hmm.
hire them to go sometimes than it is to hire an in-house group at the spot you're going to be at.
Okay.
So I pack all this gear into two large suitcases, use the media package that airlines have, and enjoy that. Now it really wears me out, but
Yeah.
But just, yeah, the clients, everybody we meet, so much fun, so interesting. And one of the things I fortunately have been involved in are groups and organizations and a public relations firm here in Atlanta that work with a lot of groups that are doing good causes.
Mm.
If it's the civil rights movement, helping Ukraine, all those kind of things that we're involved in. So I really
Right.
enjoy it, along with those Corvettes that I tape every week as well. So that's fun.
Nice. I guess which do you look forward to more during like this holiday season? Like what um is it, do you get more of the same type of clients that are looking for like sales or different things that they're trying to put out, or is it telling each individual person's story based off of what they're about?
Usually now it's events that we're
Mhm.
doing or I don't want to say press conferences, but those kind
Mhm.
of events where it's geared to being used on their social media sites
Gotcha.
and so forth. We also send those. One of the little quirky things that I do when I work with clients is that we've kind of got a reputation in the area that if I'm covering somebody's news release or press conference or their event,
Mhm.
I can send raw footage immediately that evening
Mm.
to the local TV stations, to the news directors, along with the press releases about what's like. And a lot of times the stations love that kind of stuff because they've got the material in front of them
Yeah.
to make up a quick script, and they've got raw video to choose from for some B-roll for the story. So we do that.
Oh,
This
nice.
time of year, it's fun because there are a lot of school programs, maybe
Mm.
some elementary school programs, church programs that they would like to have that professional multi-camera look, but not spend a whole lot of money for it. And I love to
Mhm.
do those kind of things because
Gotcha.
I know that in years to come,
Mhm.
that video will be very important to those little kids who become
Right.
20, 30, 40 years old, want to show their kids. So
Gotcha. I guess with all the development and technologies, it seems like AI is the big thing, but always with it, you have different apps and things people build. Has that been helpful in being able to create new things, or is it more you have to keep up with if like creating so much content, so much video, and then having to like have it stored on either the cloud or hard storage, like a
yes,
hard drive?
I still I run out of storage all the time. That's one of the things. I'm always buying more storage for my computers. I keep everything here. I don't keep it on the cloud.
Mm.
I don't want to mess up in some
Right.
way, in that area. But yeah, I love what's happening with AI.
Mhm.
Uh, I love it, but I also don't like it too
Mhm.
well. I love it in the fact that, let's say, scripts. If I need to do a script or thing, I don't let it write it for me, but I'll
Mhm.
say, oh, we were at this and this event with this person, and I need a 90-second video audio script to go with video on this, and we'll be doing interviews with this person, this person, this person. I'll put it in ChatGPT or Perplexity or one of those,
Yeah.
and it will kick back a pretty neat little audio script
Mm.
using those voice inserts. So what it does, and then I change it all up. I go back in and I make it what I need it to be.
Right.
But it saved me all that time sitting at the desk,
Mm.
coming up with my first draft of anything. It's doing the first draft for me. And then
Right.
yeah, you know how everybody knows how to work. You can add 10 or 3, 4, 10 different prompts for it to continue making that script better for you. So it
Right.
saves me a lot of time. While it's doing that, I'm over here working on the video clips. So I love AI in that way. I love what's happening in the editors, the video editors with AI,
Mhm.
where you can be editing something, and if you know that somebody talked about a particular subject and you don't want that in there, you don't have to go clip the video. You
Mm.
can just go in, and it's got an audio of a printed script of everything that was said. And you
Right.
can just go in and clip those sentences out, and it edits the video at that point, the minute you've
Mm.
done those. So things like that are really neat. Areas for openings and closings for programs, all the video templates that are already automatically made that you can go in, make sure videos look better and impressive very quickly. Although
Mhm.
it's all your material that's going into these templates,
Right.
the AI all sets that up for you. So I like it. What I don't like, and just this week I became so annoyed with it. I love that people can do all the things on their phone they want to do. Yeah,
Mm,
but I'm really annoyed right now. If you've seen them on Facebook,
mm,
all of the AI things that look real but they're not, and then
mm.
you catch on because it's a cat or a dog doing something, but it looks so real, and you know it's just which they're cool to watch, or I will say they were cool to watch for me.
Yeah,
Now they're getting just a little bit annoying.
gotcha. Yeah, it's
That's not
becoming a little
personal.
bit uh they're
Personal.
kind of
Yeah,
flooding the airways with it.
yeah.
It
It's almost too much. Just
gotcha.
too much.
It's
So
funny, I tried a couple of times to have a graphic generated where it's like I tried to say, okay, hey, here's two pictures. Can you frame it correctly? And then all of a sudden it starts face swapping people, and I'm like, whoa, no, no, no. It's like that's
it was
not gonna
having
work
fun
for me.
without you, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I was like, Never mind. I'll see what I can do on my own." But I guess with anything, it takes a little bit of time to um either do a tutorial or sit through it and say, okay, here's the time that I can dedicate towards something. Let me kind of play with it, give it a little bit, and then see what I can do with the prompts, or like develop new prompts to get better results on the back end.
That's why I don't dislike any of it because it's changing so fast
Hmm.
and it changes itself so fast that as long as it doesn't do bad things,
Yeah.
I'm all for it. It's a little scary at what could happen.
Mm.
Yeah, but in terms of video production and audio production, oh my goodness, it's just so much fun to do. Just so much
Right.
fun. And I love the technology. So I'm an old guy, but I love to keep up with it. Don't know a darn thing about computer programming, but I sure like to use all the programs they come up with. So
Yeah, it's funny. I did. I think I left that book, but I may grab it over the break. But I grabbed the book that was kind of it was titled "Automating the Simple Things," basically trying to teach you the basics of Python, which is supposed to be the simplest of the programming languages. But I was like, okay, if I can learn how to understand the logic of it, I can maybe use this at home as well as at work to like go through a spreadsheet or read a document really quickly to just say, okay, here's what I'm looking for, even if like the search function isn't working for some reason. But it's it's funny how, like yourself, I didn't really like anything about programming. Like I understood it. I wanted it to be able to do the quick things and just be like, okay, I don't want to keep doing this redundant step over and over, but let me figure out how I can do it strategically to where it's not rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. But um,
at my age, boy, I wish I were younger. I would learn programming. I would
mhm.
love that. But at my age, I don't even want to do that. I don't want to waste my time. There are too many other things to do.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I've read maybe like a chapter or two of the book, and it's one of those where it's like pick something to stick with, and like for yourself as you're doing video production and you're good at it and you continue to be able to hone your skills at it. I'm trying not to get lost too far down the rabbit hole where it's like, oh, let me try this and let me try that, and it's like, uh, stick with what's working right now, and then worry about that other stuff later.
yeah, and it's amazing. Even in the video editors I use, I've always used Adobe Premiere, and
Hmm.
then I've recently just totally switched over to DaVinci Resolve,
Hmm.
which is a great editor. But I just wish I had time to go deeper into it because
Hmm.
these programs will do anything that you see in any filmmaking or whatever. And I wish I had the time, but I don't. I don't know that I have the energy for it. I don't know.
Right.
But boy, it sure is different than the old days of using analog machines to do editing.
Yeah. What I guess what's been one of your favorite things to get into this year?
In terms of what favorite things? In terms of what?
Whether it was something you were able to produce, time you were able to spend with friends or coworkers, or something you were able to see in your travels.
Okay. Well, the list is too long there, but um,
Maybe your top
I
three.
had no, I had no intention to be doing the kinds of videos. I didn't search out. Everything kind of happened by accident. I live a block away from the King Center,
Hmm.
So I originally started working for the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, which is the SCLC is the original civil rights organization that Martin Luther King started, and all of his work on the civil rights amendments, the Voting Rights Acts, all of that they signed 60
Mhm.
years ago, just a few months
Mm.
ago in Washington with President Johnson. And so one of the great things there was to get to meet a lot of the very classic civil rights leaders and
Mm.
get to do videos with them. C.T. Vivian, Joe Lowry, John Lewis,
Mm.
and I'll mention Andrew Young too, which
Mm.
I'll mention here in just a second. But a lot of those guys have now passed away.
Mm.
But to have all that raw video of interviews with them, and in fact, just this week on Tuesday, I just saw today that one of those leaders, not as well known, but in Atlanta, was Dr. Joe Beasley,
Mm.
passed away on Tuesday. And I just before we started, I think I said, "Oh my goodness, we have a whole half-hour interview with Joe Beasley
Yeah.
that we did." So maybe I'm going to pull that up and revisit it. But doing those things, I kind of got involved with other things. The Corvettes are a fun thing; they're over here. But
Mm.
I work a lot in the areas of equality, civil rights, equality for people.
Mm.
Travel to Washington a lot with some of the SCLC groups.
Yeah.
Um, and then I also travel with an organization called 10,000 Black Appraisers. And now you wonder why a white guy is working for them, but I work in those areas. I believe in the things, and
Mm.
I love to help out. But the equality, uh, equity in appraisals, how home appraisals, farm appraisals, church
Mm.
appraisals. If you have a minority over here, that same house may get appraised $100,000 or $200,000 more than someone that owns white people that own a house. That's just,
Mm.
all that's wrong. And it still continues today. All that
Right.
red line continues today. So I work with that group and have gotten to travel a lot with them all over the country. And in fact, we just got back from St. Croix in Virgin Islands, working
Mm.
with farmers there who are up on the mountaintops and what they call the rainforest.
Mm.
And it was neat to see what they were doing. And he went there to help with their appraisals and heirs property situations. So get to do that stuff. Another really fun one is I have got to work with and this sounds like I'm bragging. I'm not. This is more like saying, if you love your profession, I am nothing special at all. I'm down here at the bottom of it, but you can do whatever you want to do. It's just getting out and doing it, going places, going to
Right.
everything. Take your camera with you, and pretty soon somebody will say, "Hey, could you come and do this for us?" And that's how it happened. But this year, they did a special program at the Woodruff Arts Center honoring this was Jewish National Health from Colorado honored Ambassador Andrew Young
Mm.
in a fundraiser, and so we did. My Atlanta Video Network did all of the interviews. We did a little video with friends of Andrew Young's that are still living,
Mm.
and everyone from Hank Aaron's wife to Billy Payne, who helped him and Andrew Young organize the Olympics, and of course Billy Payne has been head of the Masters tournament forever, and lots of people like that. To go to their homes and interview them, it was really special. And then to be able to put together that little video to be shown at this big banquet, which let me tell you, I would not have been able to afford a table, one seat at a table at this banquet. But they raised like $300,000 or $400,000 for Jewish National Health and stuff. So those
Wow.
kind of things are fun.
Yeah.
And those things I have to say that I've been so fortunate to meet one of the finest ladies. She's my age. She has one of the premier public relation firms in Atlanta.
Mm.
One time she had 40 employees up here on Peachtree Street, and her agency's name is her name. It's Amanda Brown Olmsted and Associates. And so it's been fun to work for her. And again, just met her at the unveiling of a statue to Andrew Young over in the new West Side Park that they made. And I happened to be there that day
Mm.
and shot some video, and she saw me. And then suddenly somebody needed some video that she knew I took.
Mm.
So we were able to supply that. And then suddenly it was, "Hey, I'm doing this. Can you come and help with?" And then it became this whole thing. So,
Nice.
so
I
that's
think,
just it.
yeah, that
Love
is.
going places and being a part of things. And while you're at it, take that video camera. You never
Yeah,
know what's going to happen.
that's very true. I think one of the things that, like you say, with the development in technologies and different things that get circulated around are the the things that people are able to record, and then whether it's like 10 years down the line, 5 years, 50 years, but like having the evidence that somebody recorded it is like, oh, okay, that actually happened. Like it's good to have it in writing, but also having that video element, it's almost like it breathes it into life. And I think that when you mentioned the appraisal process, is that would you be filming the process of somebody like getting their home, business, farm, property appraised, like talking to this person, talking to that person?
The gentleman, his name's Thaddeus Dawson, that is head CEO, president of this 10,000 Black Appraisers Foundation,
Mhm.
is promoting changes to the appraisal industry,
Okay.
and he's fighting hard for that. So he's doing a lot of traveling to do that. So I'm following him,
Mhm.
doing stories about where he's speaking and about the things, whether it's in Oklahoma, about how the praising things are doing there. And then he also, another neat aspect of that, and this is not anything about anything I do, but this is just so cool
Mhm.
that you know, there are less than 1% of Black appraisers or minority appraisers in the entire industry in this country.
Mhm.
So he worked on an appraisal apprenticeship program that this last year was awarded the first internship, nationally recognized internship by the U.S. Department of Labor. So I
Mhm.
went to Washington, D.C. with him as they went to the Department of Labor with the undersecretary, and they gave an official signing and all of that so that he can do internships. So we travel a lot doing that. So it's
Mhm.
just making people aware about what's going on in the appraisal industry, how they can change an appraisal that they think is not right.
Right.
So that's the kind of thing we do. And the interesting thing is, because of doing programs like this, and I do programs like you're doing here with me,
Mhm.
he has now been producing his own program, and I facilitate those. And he talks to different appraisers and organizations around the country each week.
Oh,
So
cool.
we do both a show like this, an hour long show for YouTube, Facebook, but we also change it into an hour long radio program for
Mm.
some radio stations around the country.
Nice. Now that's quality
So,
right there.
so it's good things, the good things in video that,
Yeah.
it's fun when I come here and talk about the good things that these videos are doing and
Right.
the fact
Right.
that we get to work on. That's just too good. It's
Yeah.
just too good.
It's funny because on the other hand, we it's like the drama and other things that kind of like get clicks and things like that are always interesting to look at. But other times when you see something of quality and you're like, oh wow, like I didn't realize that was a thing. Here's a profession. Maybe like on the one hand, when you're looking at manufacturing and things like that, you have a show like How It's Made, and it's like I would have never known how uh I'm trying to think of something random or like how rubber or something like that is made. But like once you're introduced to the concept and it's shown where it's easy to understand, easy to grasp, and just something that you can get behind, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense for like appraising. You think about if you're ever going to own anything, here's what it's worth, here's how that worth or that value is calculated, and here is the laws that affect it. And like you're looking at someone looking to make changes to what's currently there. It's okay, there's some vested interest in this that I can actually learn in the process and be like, okay, let me chase this thing down or keep watching the series to see how the story unfolds. So I think that's very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. It's fun to be a part of things like that.
Yeah. So like you mentioned before, it's still having the home in Indiana. Do you look forward to going back during the winter time, or do you try to like switch the seasons when it's cold up there, stay down towards Atlanta, figure out what it wants to do, and then during the springtime maybe go where it's a little bit cooler?
No, no, Atlanta's my home. Okay,
Gotcha.
now Atlanta's my home. I vote here. I have my driver's license here. I love my small community. I
Mm,
do. Well, here you go with property values. I own my little house there, so
nice.
that's something of value that I would pass along someday anyway. So no, it's going to stay now. If there wasn't a family member there who was living
Mhm.
there and taking care of it, I would probably sell it. But no, here is home. It is fun
Yeah.
to go up, and I may do this in the next week or so, go up around Christmas time
Mhm.
because there will be snow on the ground.
Right.
And it's fun to look at all the houses with the Christmas lights and the snow and everything. So I do miss the snow around Christmas time. But after that, no, I'm glad we don't have it because all the snow does is get dirty and
Yeah.
miserable and flake.
And you just got
So
to
yeah,
clean off the ice from under your car to where it doesn't get rusted out too soon.
yep, yep. I remember the last winter I was in Indiana. I went out and the ice was all over the car windshield. So I had my ice scraper and I
Mhm.
was trying to scrape the ice, and all of a sudden I cracked my whole windshield, which is
Oh,
not easy to do. So I didn't force it. It was just the combination of the ice on there and me working with it. So
right.
yeah, I don't miss any of that.
Got you. So as I guess we're basically staring at this next year coming up, is there um, any new projects on the horizon you're looking forward to, or like you've already started with the projects from 2025? What
I I hope I get to continue with the clients that we have. It's
mm,
fun. Corvettes is great fun to do.
right.
And the clients I have, um, I hope to keep continuing working with them. I don't see any reason why we wouldn't. So they're all doing exciting things. So that's going to be fun.
Nice.
I am looking, this sounds really fun, but at my age, I
Mm,
enjoy doing everything I do. But because we have the opportunity to maybe take it a little further, I'm
mm,
looking at how I can expand this now and maybe, charge a little more for what we do and
yeah.
having, have some young editors or people who go out. Maybe we could be doing multiple things on the same days.
Mm,
So that's kind of exciting to be looking at as far as the business is concerned. I had mentioned the public access
right.
channel that we ran for years, which back in the old days of cable TV, you would have your local cable channels. Well,
Mm,
those aren't so important anymore, but communities still have them because
right.
it's kind of a foundation for a new type of community media that
Mm,
includes YouTube, Facebook, all the social sites, websites, and all that. Because cable companies have to pay a little percentage into the city
right.
uh, to use all the infrastructure, the underground infrastructure, the overhead infrastructure. So that money doesn't have to go to public media, but it does in a lot of communities. Atlanta has had this
Mm,
for a lot of years, but it hasn't been doing too much. So there's been a fight for the last 10 years to make it better. And I've been one of those because I would love to go volunteer and be a
mm,
part of that. So this last year, Mayor Dickens had a blue ribbon committee
mm,
formed to see how a new reimagined community media program could come about. And I was fortunate enough to work on that committee. And the work was completed this year. They did open up a small studio centrally
okay.
located on Peachtree Street. And now they have just made the arrangements that the public access will be kind of managed by Atlanta Technical College
Mm,
and and so be public access, but it will
right.
give an easy access for training and people to work at the station that maybe students and so forth to work there. So it's kind of like what we did back in Indiana.
Gotcha.
So looking forward to that, and it's just getting off the ground, but it would be a place where shows like yours,
Mm,
you could have a space on that channel. And that would, of course, be not only on channel 24 on the cable system here, but it could be on their YouTube, their Facebook, every place that they put the programming is on their website. So that's something for you to think about too, as well as other people who just love to produce programs. And
yeah.
and it could be anything. You could go to a Christmas program at a school right now and record it. And they would love to have it to air. And you can actually upload things to the channel online from home. It's all, everything is digital. So I'm really excited about seeing that expand, and particularly because of my background in that. I got to be on that committee and kind of help see that come to
Yeah.
fruition. So that's going to be
Well,
exciting this year.
that would be pretty neat. One thing I thought about, I'm glad you brought back up the public access channels because it's as much as everyone seemed to want to get away from cable, like before you had the big cable package where it's you didn't have a lot of channels, then you got a lot of channels, but then a lot of things went towards streaming, but then all these different streaming services is almost like it's turning back into cable again. So it's like what was on bottom is now on top, and the roles have kind of been reversed. But it's good to hear that the programs are being made, and like the city has a budget that needs to be allocated to that, and for someone to know, hey, this is an avenue that's available. And I guess would it be an application process that you go through, or would you just submit to be approved for that to get
Okay.
on their channel?
If if anybody's interested in it, the new channel, which I don't like the name, if I would have had any part of that, I would have changed it to something else. But they're calling it right now Atlanta Atlanta 24 Community Media. It's channel 24 on the cable system. So that's where we're starting, Atlanta 24. And you can actually go .com. So you can actually go and watch programs on your phone or computer or wherever. And if you have cable TV in Atlanta, it's channel 24 on the cable
Okay.
system here. So the process is you can just go to that website,
Mhm.
atlantacommunitymedia.com, and you would go in. There's a process there, the little icons where you can sign up to be a producer,
Mhm.
and what type of show you might like to have and stuff. And you can just I don't know if it's the approval process. Anyway, it's a quick thing. You just do it, and then you can actually upload your programs,
Mhm.
and you could have your programs up there every week. You could have a time slot that you put them on, have them every week. And the nice thing about it is,
Mhm.
um, in Decatur, the studios for Channel 25.
Mhm.
I think it's 25, which is their public access, DeKalb County's public access. Atlanta's in Fulton County, DeKalb County.
Right.
And you can sign up there, and those shows could be going out to the greater Atlanta area and to the DeKalb County. You could have my goodness, think about that. You have your own network there.
Yeah.
So people can do those things, and it is fun to do. It is fun to record programs and put them on the air, and whether it's a talk show like this or to go out and record a parade,
Mm.
record a Christmas parade, go out and put it up on your local access.
Right.
But it's going to be exciting to see it come about. There was something I was thinking about. I want to add one thing. You mentioned about all the streaming services,
Yeah.
and we're
Yeah.
all cutting the cable out, cutting the cord.
Mhm.
I've always said that's the most stupid thing we ever said in our lives. I cut the cord. I cut the cord. We didn't cut the cord because the cable is still the internet is still delivered to us
Right.
by the cable company. Now, someday that will all be wireless, but it'll probably be the company that used to be the cable company delivering it to us. So
Right. Right.
we still get that internet through that cable that comes into our homes, or so we haven't really cut the cable.
Right.
And like you said, it is discouraging now that all the channels we would like to watch,
Mhm.
we usually have to subscribe to in one form or another.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the thing that's interesting about that is that I think fiber has become kind of like the new thing, and that's a form of cable where it's like you get, I guess it's not crazy to think, but having something a direct plug-in is the most accurate connection, because for the longest I'm sitting here using these wired headphones, and I can hear clearly through them, even with like a tiny microphone here when I'm using it with my phone versus trying all of the wireless earbuds that there are out there. It's that you have so much fighting signals where if you have just a one-to-one connection, it's you get exactly what you need as you need it. It may not be convenient, so to speak, dealing with the wire, but it's good to see that the things that have been made, tested, and tried still work. And
yeah,
after a while, it's like you have fads that come in and they go back out. And when um, you see memes and different things like that, where parents will do with their children, or children will be like, "Oh, they're hearing this new song for a while," and the parent is like, we used to play that. This is just like a slowed down version or a sped up version of the same melody that we're used to. But it's good to see how things evolve and devolve, but at the same time, it's like the things that remain consistent, being able to have an idea in your head, bring it to life, share it with people. People are able to gather around. I may go ahead, and one of the things I will say is good about something like YouTube, it's they have the like the paid version and the free version, and they'll put up classic. I think I've watched the Truman Show on there like 60 times at this point, or 10 times maybe. I sped through it, or other times I just watched it on normal speed and just seeing the like how people are embracing it. On the one hand, the performance the actors are putting on, but also how they choose to select their camera views, and they're just like, okay, hey, here's the scene that we're showing you, here's up close, here's zoomed out, here's this, here's that. And then another classic, which is what I was originally thinking of, was the Christmas, is it the Christmas Story or A Wonderful Life?
Yeah.
But I think A Wonderful Life, where it's, I'd heard somebody mention it before, but then when I finally watched it, I was like, oh wow, like it's it doesn't have to make a big splash, but if it's effective enough, it always resonates with people. And it's like time and time again, when you get during this time, you cozy up inside and you just want to watch something that makes you feel something. And
Yeah.
that that's always that's always good to figure out how people do that, but then go back and apply it to myself to remember, like, okay, this is what resonates with me, and then it also has a way of resonating with other people, and actually embracing the different beats where you're at, because sometimes it's taking a minute to enjoy the now instead of just being like, okay, I want to be over this and I just want to get to the next thing. I want to get to the next thing. And it's like, until you recognize where you're at in the time, so to speak, it's like you're kind of chasing something that's never like within your grasp, so to speak.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. That's so true. But yeah, it is interesting how you can influence people,
Mhm.
not in a bad way, just influence their emotions to do something good, you know,
Yeah.
pick up
It
and do things. I'll tell you a Christmas thing that I hate to admit,
What's that?
but you mentioned It's a Wonderful Life, the old black and white show. I have to
Mhm.
watch it every Christmas, you know.
Yeah.
The Christmas Story, I've got to watch that too. But then the one that, as an old 72-year-old man, that I have to watch when I can, and
Mhm.
that's the old animated Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer with the little puppet, the little, not animated, but it's the little, I'm going to say
Animatronic or
puppets. Yeah, the animation they do with the puppets,
okay.
you know.
I might have to look
And
that one up.
it's the, oh yeah, it's an old one, and I'm not saying the right thing with puppets. It's little. They actually filmed it with little figures,
Yeah.
and they would move it one frame at a time, you know, to raise the legs up. And I think Burl Ives
Mm.
plays the part of Santa or whatever. But I have to watch that because it brings back those that kind of feeling when I watch it when I was a little boy, six years old, watching it for the first time. Yep,
Yeah. That
yeah,
that's
that's
awesome.
neat
Because
stuff.
it's like, just kind of going back to the emotions thing, it even it warms your heart, where it's like you have the Marines that are doing Toys for Tots, or you have get-togethers. Like, people at this time are more open and willing to be giving. And it's funny, at the same time that I'm watching, one thing that I like a lot on YouTube are the takedown scams, or people that are pointing out like people that may be grifters, or people that put on a show. They always make these big bold claims, but it's, hey, here's things to look out for, but then here's also something that's good. And being able to balance the both, where it's like, okay, I'm not going to get trapped by this story, but going to the checkout and they ask like, oh, hey, would you be willing to help a family like for $1 or for this? And it's like, yeah, it's not an everyday thing, but if it can help, if I can do something to help somebody else, good, just do it, and not have to pat yourself on the back. But at the same time, it's just good to see like the people that have thought they would get over on those less fortunate and kind of make fun of them. It's like a lot of people in 2025 seem like they got their comeuppance, so to speak.
Yep, yep. And I especially enjoy the ones right now. I don't know why I like it because it's bad, where the people are stealing the packages, the Amazon
Mm,
packages off people's porch, and somehow they put colored stuff in there that
yeah.
blows up. Nobody seems to get hurt, but they don't like being covered in purple or pink or green. And you know those people will run right back up to the door and say, "I'm going to get you for the. I'm going to call the police on you. What, for stealing my package off of my son?" I would never do that to anybody, but I
Right.
kind of watch those because I think, oh, they're getting kind of what they deserve there a little bit.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny. I saw one, I think just yesterday, where somebody, I don't know if it was staged, but it made me chuckle where they went to grab the package and it turned into a trap door and they just fell
Oh,
through the porch. And I
I
was like,
saw that.
oh,
Yes.
that's
Yep.
hilarious.
Yep.
Awesome.
The fun videos. I hate to say it. I feel bad that I say those are fun to watch, but it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so much good to be done. And I'll say something. Let me go back to the public access thing a minute. And people could say, well, why would I want to put my thing? I just put it on YouTube,
Mhm.
Facebook, whatever. I think there's one thing that we miss with all the videos on social media is that it's out there for everybody to see, but we don't have a real way of finding a lot of things.
Mhm.
So if someone's taping something in Atlanta, put it on your YouTube site like you do with all of your sites, put it on there. But man, to share it so easily on a community media channel like our new one here in Atlanta,
Yeah.
um, that's a place where people know they're going to see something interesting that's Atlanta.
Right.
So, people's things locally would be on there all the time anyway. So it's kind of a place
Yeah. It's almost
where
like
you
you're
have all
building,
kinds of things. Right.
it's like you're building community back up because it kind of goes
Yep.
back to the water cooler talk, which I know a lot of people have said that's what Twitter is, and I kind of tried to figure that out, but I'm like, maybe that's
Mm,
not the water cooler I want to sit at.
yeah. I haven't figured Twitter or X. Now, yes, I figured it out. I'm on there. I watch things all the time, but it amazes me. There are a lot of really, what I would say, not very good things on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know,
But
really.
it's sometimes it feels like almost I guess each platform is different, but how people keep up with different threads and stories, and it's like, okay, this is going on, but it's like, I've tried to get help on saying, hey, here's a podcast thing, and it's like, okay, hey, here's the idea, just post it in sequential sequence where it's like, okay, you've got one post and then another post and then another post and then another post, and it's like people would jump on something or they'll jump off something, and I'm like, there's a lot going on here. It's like I'm trying to cross the street, but I've got to look both ways. And now I'm trying to cross a 6 lane highway for some reason. And it's like,
Yep.
maybe
Yep.
I'll come back when it's a little less busy.
And that's another interesting job, I think. And I keep thinking about this with the things I do with the different organizations I do on social media
Mm,
that I don't really have. I've learned a lot about the analytics behind these sources, but it would be a great job for people to be that person you could go to that knows how to do things on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram to really get the viewers for whoever you're working for. Now
right.
that's something I could really use somebody's help with. Is
Yeah.
instead of getting 800 views on something, how suddenly do we turn that into 5,000?
Right.
Now
Right.
that there are people who do that, and I would love to know more about that. I don't want to be that person, but I would love to have some of those people available.
Right.
So,
Hey, that
so
might not be a bad goal for 2026. Let's see. We'll put some feelers out there and see who comes back to us.
yeah, how you get it's another form of public relations. It's
Yeah.
a new modern day form of public relations. How do you attract people to
I
what you're
know.
doing?
I know
Yeah.
maybe it's been like since the time that we've met, I know a lot of people have done more of ads and they'll use softwares or platforms like Go High Level or even Google Ads where it's direct from the information that you feed Google, Facebook, things like that. And it directly turns that around to say, okay, based on what you're sharing, people that may be interested in your things, it can look both domestically and abroad to say, here is something that people may resonate with. And on the one hand, it's like it works for some people where it's a direct, like, you spend this much money to attract clients, and I guess you do the same thing if you're trying to sell a product where it's like it takes you so much money to get a new person in the door versus someone that's reoccurring because they tried what you have and they like it versus trying to go the organic route where you have a natural story and it's peer to peer where somebody tells, like, a friend tells another friend that, hey, you got to really check this thing out, and then they just go down that road.
Yeah. It's at that place that if you're like me, I'm a video producer. I don't, if I were to try to do the videos I do on a daily basis,
Hmm.
uh, and trying to do that kind of promotion of social media connections,
Yeah,
I would need somebody sitting here in another room doing that during the
right,
day
right.
because I think that would be kind of a full-time job if you
Yeah,
were doing a lot of different clients. So
I think it can be, and one of the things I've seen people try to do a lot is like taking, say, if you have like a 5 minute video and then you cut it up into sections, or you focused on, okay, here is a video clip with a catchy title, or you pull captions from it that's like, oh, here's quotes, where you have like a slide deck that just goes from like, here's 5 things. Or a lot of times like Instagram I've played with a lot, where it has music that's trending or something that's popular, and you try to put that with it to where it's, see if this resonates with somebody. If they're just like going by, it's like, oh, that that seems like an interesting phrase, so let me see. Like, some people will click the description and read more about it, other people would just kind of go on to the next thing. But yes, I think to your point, it is kind of, that can become a full-time thing where someone understands this is what gets people's attention, where it's like something, I think, what's the old term, clickbait, where people will put things out there that aren't really true, but then it's almost like made you look. But actually having something that resonates with something of value, it's okay, that's worthwhile. Somebody can keep coming back. And other people may just hate watch things, but I think it's more genuine when even people that speak, they like give their commentary on things that aren't as fun, but everybody has this, again, community type thing where it's like they all bond over the same thing that they dislike, or they get somebody else's take on it. And just the way they go about sharing that is always, it's always funny to watch.
yeah, yeah. And of course, now we have always have to make, we're doing your program as a program looks, but yeah,
Hmm.
all the shorts and the vertical shorts and reels and everything. So
Yeah,
I get into that position where we have to do both, and there are different ways of doing that. You know, if
right.
I shoot the video like we're doing, we're
Yeah,
standard
yeah.
video, then turning that into some shorts. And of course, there's a new thing. Oh, you probably heard Opus AI.
I don't
It's
know if
called
I've heard of
Opus
that one.
AI, and you just, if I just did it with an hour-long video for the appraisal
Mm,
organization, I put their whole hour show in there, and it clunks away for half an hour, and it spits out 10 or 15 or 20 shorts,
nice.
vertical shorts out of that thing, and then you can go in and adjust them a little bit, but it works pretty well for that.
Okay.
So it's another one of those AI time savers.
Yeah, that is pretty neat. I like that. But it's funny because I'm thinking right now, I think for me primarily the thing is always enjoy the conversation with a guest, and then just trying to figure out the best way to um group conversations to make it somewhat bingeable, to where it's like, okay, hey, if you're looking at things that are career driven, purpose driven, identity driven, or geographically being able to go from one location to the other, it's seeing how that resonates with people, and having kind of like a documentary type feel. I think it's something about it is working. And then other times I'm like, if nobody is watching it, but I'm still being consistent and showing up, I think that still works in a way, because then you can look up, a few years goes by and it's like, oh wow, like we actually did something there.
Yeah, yeah. You have. And I said at the beginning of the program, it's amazing that you stuck with it. It means you must really enjoy it.
I do.
And your programs are amazing. In fact, I have to go watch one that intrigued me, and I think it's probably one of your more recent ones, with a gentleman who teaches video production in London.
Oh yeah, yeah, Miss Ronaldo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I thought, oh, I gotta go, I
right.
gotta listen to this whole thing. But how did you meet him?
Well, we
Like,
met through how I met a lot of people through a an online group called Brave University. And it was
okay,
basically like-minded people that wanted to work on self-improvement. And I think it was Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas, out of Detroit, Michigan. I think actually he's in Lansing, Michigan, but he put out a lot of videos through YouTube. And again, with video production, without having the person behind the camera, we would never know him. But a lot of the content and the messages that they were putting out on a weekly basis, they attracted a lot of people where they created an online community and doing conferences in different cities, going there and like joining the community online through a Facebook group. It was like, okay, like you have weekly calls or calls throughout the week that you could join, and then everyone just wanting to connect with somebody new. He was one of the people that I connected with, and I kept seeing how consistent he was with his weekly videos, daily videos that he put up, where it was something always encouraging and just being open to have a conversation and just asking someone. So that's how we met, through that group, and we've just kept in touch in the same way that we have.
That's great. That's great. Well, that's why I'm going to go back and watch the whole thing because one, he taught video. Two,
Yeah.
he's doing it in London, and three, no, he's younger than me, but he's got gray hair.
Yeah,
So so I'm going to enjoy watching that one complete. So
gotcha. Appreciate that. It's funny. I guess I'm not too far off from the club, but shaving it so nobody can tell.
I wish I could do that. I would look so stupid with no hair. That would just be yeah.
Well,
So
let people know how they can find you and what they have to look forward to.
okay, well. People can find me. Our website is atlantavideonetwork.com. And of course, my name is Rick Clear. Anybody catch up with me on Facebook or on YouTube, Atlanta Video Network channel there. Um, and especially, I would love if anybody's interested, especially in the public access area, or
Mhm.
maybe some of the things we talked about,
Yeah,
look me up there. Uh, and it's actually my email address is rick@atlantavideonetwork.com.
nice.
So it's easy to get a hold of. But I just I'm looking forward to be even more community minded in the work we do. And so much of my time gets spent doing things for other organizations and so forth.
Mhm.
Sometimes I can share those on my channels. Sometimes it wouldn't be appropriate to. But I'm
Right.
going to make a bonus effort to try to do more of that in building community media because um, it's a fascinating area to be in. And
Mhm.
we really can build community, and especially in this day and age when we're losing newspapers.
Yeah.
We're losing more connection with and in Atlanta especially, we are connected by these 27 neighborhoods in
Mhm.
Atlanta. How many letters are in the alphabet? 27?
26.
26?
Yep.
Okay, we have 26. We have the same number of neighborhoods as there are letters in the alphabet.
Wow.
So, community media is something that can really connect people. And today, especially when we can do live streaming so easily and
Mhm.
professionally at very low cost with great quality. And I mean, right here, I've got a whole video system with production over here on my desk. Back in a part of my bedroom, I have a whole nother system to use. But where am I sitting? In my living room on my Samsung phone doing this program with you today. I did have a
Nice.
little microphone that I plugged into it that actually worked. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
So there is so much we can do to strengthen our communities, to help our communities learn, to know more about each other, to know more of what's going on in the city government, to have conversations about things that's going on within our city, in our
Mhm.
life of our community. And in the time periods, like I said, the AJC newspaper will cease publishing a paper
Mm.
at the end of this year.
Okay.
Everything will be online.
Yeah.
So as we lose, we're not really losing that, but it's going to be a change for the city of Atlanta. But as we lose more of things, we have an opportunity to gain more
Mm.
by being a tight knit community, and local community media can do that. So that's going to be a big project for me in 26.
Awesome. I like it. Thank you again, Rick, for joining me for another episode, and I look forward to continuing to view your work and potentially taking advantage of this public access opportunity.
You should. And thank you for having me on again. And thank you for doing all the interesting shows.
You're
People I
very
would
welcome.
probably never meet personally, but I get to meet them through you. So that's a good thing. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You're very welcome.